Hey guys, it's me, Tasha. It's Monday, so I'm going to do our Healthy Monday segment. And I decided to record it because I'm recording for my other business anyway. So to make it a lot easier for me to do it this way instead of having to write it down. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do all of my Monday segments like this from now on. So just to let you guys know to go ahead and look out for the Healthy Monday segment as a video instead of a written post. So today I want to talk about mental health awareness. January is an awareness month for a lot of health related issues, and it's also a awareness month for mental health. And I would like to talk to you guys about my experience with mental health. And what I'm about to tell you, most people don't know about me. My husband does not even know this about me, so this is something he will be learning about me as well. When I very first had my first kids, my first two oldest kids, I have a son that will be 17 in a few weeks, and I have a daughter that will be 16 3 weeks after that. My kids are kind of 13 months apart, the two older kids. And when I had my older children, I developed postpartum depression. And postpartum depression is a really serious mental health issue that we don't usually talk about in the African American community a lot. Our mothers, it's hereditary. Our mothers may have went through it. Our grandmothers may have went through it. And basically what it is an imbalance in your hormones after you have your baby. Now, the postpartum depression can be mild and it'll correct itself on its own, or it may be really severe. And I had the severe version of postpartum depression. The first time my first baby, I didn't know there was anything wrong. I just thought, oh, this is the way it is. It's just hard being a mother. Over time, I got better, and I cried a lot. I cried for no reason at all. I was just crying. I would cry because I couldn't put a diaper on correctly. I was crying. I just cry. It was unusual for me to be crying that much. But eventually it got better. But what I did not know was if you have another baby, the next episode will be worse than the first episode. So the second episode, because I never got treated the first time. When I had my second baby, it was extremely worse. It was really, really bad. And I would tell people, I knew there was something wrong with me, but I didn't know exactly what was wrong with me. And I would tell people, there's something wrong with me, I need to go to the hospital. And people would say, no, there's nothing wrong with you, it's just the baby blues, you'll be okay. No, there was something wrong with me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Didn't know what it was. I would cry all day long. I would cry all night long. There were moments where I didn't even want to get up and do anything but I had to, because I had two little babies 13 months apart. And I thought it was just stress because I had two babies in diapers at the same time. My oldest son, by the time my daughter was born, he didn't even walk yet. He didn't start walking until he was 13 and a half months old. So he didn't start walking until she was 2 weeks old. So then when he started walking, he was getting into everything, and I just thought that's what it was, a lot of stress from being a new mother and being at home by myself a lot, because my husband at the time worked one full-time job and one part-time job, because he said he wanted to, make more money to have in savings since we have two kids now. It was extremely hard, and I was at my house a lot by myself. I was probably at my house by myself 18 hours a day. And I would go the entire week without leaving my house because I didn't have a reason to go anywhere. I didn't have but one car in the house, and I would go on the weekend to go to the grocery store, and I would be in my house a lot, on top of being depressed and not really having anyone to interact with. It got really bad. It got so bad to the point where I was begging my husband not to leave me at home with the kids by myself because I didn't know what would happen. And he thought I was just trying to get some attention because I was young. I was 21. and he was not that much older. He was 24. So he didn't know any better either. And one day I literally got on my hands and knees and I begged him, do not leave me at home with these kids by myself. And he went off to work anyway. And the reason why I was begging him is because my postpartum depression had gotten so bad that it had turned into postpartum psychosis. I was going in and out of the postpartum psychosis, in and out, to the point where I would see things. I saw little cartoons running around my house, and I knew when I saw these little cartoons running around my house, there's something wrong with me. I'm not imagining things. There's something wrong with me. Because you know, it's not normal to see little cartoons running around, literally cartoons running around your house. That's not normal. And I didn't know what to do. I knew I needed help. And I was afraid because I would have these visions. It was just crazy. So what I did was I said, okay, I got to get some help. So I called 911. No, that's not what I did. What I did was I had a bottle of Tylenol. There was 6 Tylenols in the bottle. I took 4 of those. And then I called 911 and I told them I took a bottle of Tylenol. Which I did take the bottle of Tylenol, but it was only 6 in there and I took 4, but they didn't know that. I wanted somebody to come get me and get me some help because nobody would listen. I would tell people that everybody that I had the opportunity to tell, I would tell them and they just brushed it off as the baby blues. So I said I need to get some help. So I took these 4 Tylenols and then I called the ambulance and I told them I have 2 small babies at my house. I don't know what to do. I took an entire bottle of Tylenol. I need some help. So to make a long story short, the ambulance came, he took me to the hospital and I slept. Oh my God, that's another thing. I did not sleep as well as I should be sleeping because I had 2 babies. I'm breastfeeding and I'm basically here at my house 18 hours a day by myself trying to take care of them, and I'm depressed on top of that. And my house was a complete and total mess. When I say a mess, if you see the show Hoarders, actually no, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as Hoarders, but if you see the show Hoarders and you have stuff all over the place, it was almost that bad. I would have clothes and it was so bad I didn't even want to clean up. I did the laundry because I didn't have a choice because I needed clothes to wear. My kids needed clothes to wear, but if it would pile up, it was bad. And what I did when I called the ambulance, they took me to the hospital and I slept. And I felt a little bit of relief because I knew that somebody had gotten my kids and I knew I was going to be taken care of. And the doctor came and asked me, he said, what is wrong with you? Because you did not take enough Tylenol to kill yourself. We tested your system, we pumped your stomach, nothing came out but food. So why did you call 911? And I told him my story, what was going on with me. And he said, oh, you have postpartum depression. Then when he gave a name to it, I felt so much better because I knew that I have a name to it. I could be cured. I can be helped. And he said, what it is there's nothing wrong with you. You have a hormonal imbalance. What we have to do is we have to get your hormones back in balance and you'll be fine. So he prescribed me some medication and I took the medication and he said it's going to take a while for you to feel better, 100% better. And once you get 100% better, you're going to go to your regular doctor and let him know what you've been prescribed and he's going to wean you back off the medication. So within 4 months of me going to the hospital, I was better and I was weaned back off the medication. And ever since then, now that I know I'm prone to postpartum depression, I get treated ahead of time. So let's say my baby, I'm 8 months pregnant, I'll tell the doctor knows, my doctor knows I have prone to postpartum depression. So at 8 months pregnant, I get a hormonal treatment so that does not cross into the placenta. hormonal treatment that I take does not cross into the placenta, so it does not affect the baby. So I have more hormones in balance before the baby is born, so I never have to experience the postpartum depression to begin with. So this is something really, really, really important. So if you are experiencing signs of postpartum depression, and I will put the signs of postpartum depression in the link in the description box. You can click on that link and you'll find all the signs of postpartum depression. And if you are experiencing these signs, whether you just had a baby a few days ago or if your baby is a toddler, because if you don't get it treated, it doesn't always go away. And if you have another baby, it gets worse and worse and worse. If you guys can remember, I want to say 15 years ago, Andrea Yates, she had the 5 kids and she drowned them in the bathtub. She was suffering from an extreme version of postpartum depression that went into postpartum psychosis because she was never treated. It's that serious. If you have postpartum depression or signs of postpartum depression, have it treated. If you want to go the homeopathic way, do that. If you want to go to a traditional doctor, do that. Whatever you do, have your postpartum depression treated, because it can eventually get to the point to where somebody gets hurt, and you don't want that to happen. And as a matter of fact, when the Andrea Yates story happened, which was a couple of years after what happened to me, my husband at the time, he's my ex-husband now, he looks at me and he says, "I didn't know it was that bad." And I said, yeah, it was that bad. I was almost to the point to where I wanted to kill myself and kill my kids. So yeah, it was that bad. So if I had not came out of the psychosis to be lucid enough to go make a plan to get help, that could have been us. I could have been Andrea Yates. So I don't judge her. I really don't. Like a lot of people judge her, I don't judge her at all. But she stays in the back of my mind. I always, when I see little babies or I see mothers that I can tell, because you know, family recognizes family. I can tell when I see somebody out in public, I can tell they have postpartum depression. Andrea Yates is in the back of my mind. So, and I ask them, I'll talk to them and I'll tell them my story if they're willing to listen, and hopefully they'll go and get help. So that's why I'm doing this video. And it is Healthy Monday, so if you would like to go ahead and click on that link in the description box like I'm asking you to do, please do that and be aware of the mental health issues in our community. And it's not just postpartum depression, any mental health issue that you have in the community, it needs to be discussed. This is just my story of my experience of mental health issues. But it shouldn't be a taboo thing to talk about, because the sooner you talk about it and people realize that they're not stigmatized for having a mental health issue, the sooner they will get help. And the sooner they will get better, and they can be healthier, and they can be more productive person in our community. And it's not right. We shouldn't stigmatize people for having mental health issues, because it's not their fault. Some people were born that way. Some people develop a hormonal imbalance. It's not their fault. The sooner they get help, the better they can be. So that's all I have to say about it. And today's Healthy Monday. Drink your water, exercise, do your healthy, loving movement, which is what we call exercise. Do your exercise at least 45 minutes a day. Try to take your 10,000 steps a day. Eat your 2 raw vegetables a day and at least 5 vegetables and fruits and vegetables a day. And try to eat overall healthy is all I have to say. So there you have it. That's my piece on health this Monday, and I'll see you guys next week.